everyone, I'm Jess,
And I'm Katie.
and today we're going to be talking about pets. So, just to give you a little background information, Katie and I are both dog owners. I have a 3-year-old turning 4, Labrador Retriever Border Collie mix. She's like the sweetest thing ever. I wish I could show you a picture.
I have a 7 going on 8-year-old greyhound. We adopted her I think 2 or 3 years ago. And she's an interesting dog. I think she's a cat. So that makes for interesting playtime.
Yeah, so my dog, I don't know about you, Katie, but my dog has had a really strong impact on my life. Ever since I got her, I think I changed completely. It's just like a changing experience. I feel like having a pet because your pet's there for you, your pet loves you. It's just very interesting in a way.
Like I know when I got my dog, I completely had to change. Like I just start picking up more often than I usually did. I just start doing a bunch of different stuff to just for the dog so she can eat stuff and all that other and whatnot. And I just feel like just had a really strong emotional connection to her because of how long I've owned her. And I just don't really imagine anything else like life without her because it's just like whenever I come home from school, when I did before COVID, I would always be welcomed by a waggy tail and a big smile from her. And it's just like that makes me excited to come home.
Yeah, me too. Dogs, and I don't know about other pets, I can't speak for those, but they're just there for you. And it's like something of your own. And it's kind of like a parent child relationship in a way. And I was wondering, Katie, do you want any other pets?
Um, I'm not currently, I don't think. I'm perfectly happy with my greyhound. Her name's Jojo, by the way. So if I've heard of Jojo, it's the greyhound. But I mean, probably in the future, I might want more pets. I'm a very big animal lover, and I just feel like they comfort me a lot since I can talk to them without worrying about if they'll judge me without they understand me.
Yes, I want more dogs. I want like
Yeah.
as many more dogs as possible. Katie knows this about me, but I am terrified of snakes. Actually, once when we were together, someone was like, I have a box full of snacks, and I thought they said snakes, so I screamed. That's how scared I am of snakes, guys. So I'm very proud of you, all snake owners. You're extremely brave. I could never
Love
have
the
anything
cute
like
little.
any snake within a 50-foot radius of me.
See, I'm fine with pretty much any pet. Spiders, I mean, I'm not terrified of them, but I wouldn't willingly own just random spiders. But I mean, I've had my teacher had a tarantula, and so I had experience with that, I guess, a little bit. But I like snakes. I like the cute, tiny ones, but the big scary ones that could possibly kill you are a little not on my radar that I would want. So all you snake lovers, you are brave and superior to other pet owners.
But like, no hate got snake owners out there. But what I don't understand about having a pet snake is like your dog, you can play with your dog, walk your dog,
Yeah.
pet your dog. But I don't really know how that works with snakes. Like, I don't think you can really play with them or interact with them that
I guess
much.
kind of like a fish where you can't really you can do less with a fish than with a snake. It's mainly just there for I guess looking at. I'm not exactly sure. I used to have a fish, but I didn't really have that good of a connection with it. So but I feel like people who own more fish, I only had one and it was just a random fish that a bunch of little kids have and whatnot. Don't worry, I was a good owner. Thank you very much. But I'm just more of like if I can do something with the pet, I develop a connection. I just find it more just I guess what's the word? Just better in general.
Yeah, and like I agree completely with what you were saying. And I think that connection has like a huge impact on people's mental health. Like there are so many stories of when people with depression or other mental illnesses got dogs, whether they were service dogs or just a family pet, and their lives changed drastically. And even though fortunately I've never experienced anything like that,
Yeah.
my dog has changed my life drastically. Like when I got my dog, I was going through a little bit of tough times socially. I didn't have very many friends. But then when I got my dog, that changed completely because she became my best friend and she knew when I was sad, she was there to comfort me. And they're just like endless studies and data points that show that dogs know when you're sad, dogs can increase happiness by whatever percentage.
Mhm.
it's amazing. And I'm sure it's the same for other pets if you develop the same kind of bond with them.
Yeah, because like it's like there's some sort of research or statistic or something like that where it's like it's been proven that pets just because of like certain like connection, I'm guessing I haven't done as much research, but like connections that releases like the dopamine or serotonin, just stuff like that, the happy drugs that just make you feel better, and it's just nice.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
like any pet. Like, I personally am a dog person, but like I know my friend who's a cat person. Like she just like loves just like petting her cat and like, but like when he comes up to her, of course, like she like since like, we have different personalities, so I feel like because like the pets kind of just show our personalities. Since I'm more of an energetic, I'm a very social person, as Jess could
Oh
tell you.
yeah, I definitely know that. Like when she was joining our podcast, she was just like, "Yeah, I have friends in 10 different countries and 30 different
Oh my
states."
god.
It's
Not that
insane.
many. But like my friend, she's more like a shy type, but like she's not that like extreme, like she's not extremely shy to the point where she barely makes any friends. It's just like the cat kind of represents like how they don't always want to go hang out with like the like people, and like when new people come, like I know when I first came, like her cat like barely ever like went up to me, maybe like the first time just to check out who I was, but then just barely interacted with me because I was new. Like he didn't trust me quite yet, but like eventually he got used to me and whatnot. So I feel like that relates on like her personality.
Right. And another thing that I've seen, at least with dogs, like I said, I can't speak for other animals, but sometimes it's weird that like the dog becomes like the owners. I've seen that before. Like my family is very type A, all of us. So then my dog honestly became a type A too, and she gets all like anxious if her walks aren't exactly on time. So I don't know if that's just nature versus nurture there. I don't know if she just was like that and a good fit for us, or if we made her like that. And then also like I've seen like people who are more laid back, like type B people, and their dogs are also like more laid back, type B. I think it's interesting because we shape dogs and dogs shape us, and I'm sure it's true with other pets as well.
I know, like when I am like a little late to take my dog for a walk, she gets kind of like it's like I guess she whines a little bit more, but like overall she doesn't get super anxious about it. She's just like, "Hey, you're supposed to take me now. Why haven't you treated me?" She's treated like a little princess. We used to have our bean bags, but now they're all hers. Like that's the
Oh
only place
wow.
she sleeps now because, and of course she has to sleep in my room, and just a little spoiled, just a little.
Yeah, my dog, I'm gonna get real personal here. She's kind of chubby. She loves her food, and she's just so cute. We can't resist giving her treats sometimes.
I love that.
Yes. I mean, but what dog isn't chubby if they're adorable? Like, how could the owners not give it treats if it's just
Like just look
so
at the
cute?
smiling face and the happy face. They just give you the eyes and you just break down. It's just so cute.
Yeah, okay, so like turning things to a more serious
Oh
note,
yeah.
we have to talk, I guess, about like responsibility and being kind to animals because like talking about giving your dog treats, that reminded me of that a lot. And I just want to be clear that having a pet is a huge responsibility, and do
Yeah.
not overfeed it, do not give it too many treats. It's animal abuse and cruelty if you are not a sufficient pet owner and you don't meet those requirements. And it's, yes, you might want a dog. The dog might seem to love you, but the dog would do much better in another home. So like I emphasize that if you're not in a position to properly take care of the dog for your well-being and the dog's well-being, you should try to find another owner for the dog. There's no shame in that whatsoever.
Because if I knew when I first got a dog, I didn't realize how much responsibility there was, and I was able to step up to it because I'm just able to adjust quickly. But I feel like if you really don't know how much responsibility it takes, like you need to be able to take them on multiple walks, you need to feed them like the right food, you need to be able to like know when something, and not really know when something is wrong, but be able to like gauge when you think they're like something's off and be able to take them to the vet and just stuff like that. That like it's just a little more than just your average day. You just think it's all just playing and whatnot. Because you also need to make sure you play with them enough.
Yeah, and something that not a lot of people know is that dogs have the cognitive ability of a 5-year-old human. So they're extremely, extremely smart. And with that intelligence, you have to treat them like they have that intelligence and stimulate their mind by taking them on walks and playing with them and interacting with them. Because some people think, like, oh, just dogs are stupid, whatever, I can just leave it. But no, dogs are actually quite complex mentally. I actually wrote a paper about this last year, so I could just blast off facts, but I'm just going to keep it simple and say that they're mentally complex, about equivalent to 5-year-olds. So, like, for example, putting a dog in a crate for really, really long periods of time, some people think that's fine, but I'm telling you, they have the mental abilities of 5-year-olds, and it's cruel to do something like that to a dog. And if you don't have the means to watch the dog and you have to do that based on your schedule.
I mean, I agree with you, but I know for one of my dogs, since we had twins, but the other one unfortunately died, she had severe like separation anxiety, and just overall anxiety. Or not really that severe, but like if she connected with someone, she just got kind of anxious when they left, and she's just overall anxious. And so we had to get her a crate for when we left because it was kind of like her safe space. Whenever she got like stressed or whatnot, she was
Yeah,
able to
yeah.
go in there to feel
I was
safe.
talking about like leaving it in a crate for like days
Yeah, yeah,
at a
yeah.
time.
I
Yeah,
just
not
wanted
just
to
like
point
for a
that out.
couple of hours, because I do that too, and it's good for the dog safety and
Because it's like our room for them. Like whenever
right.
I'm upset, I like having my room. Like it's my safe space. It's where I can like fully express myself. And like for them, that's their crate. Eventually, she grew out of it because she just knew that her home was like our home was her safe space, and it wasn't. She was just like she knew she was safe. We would come back, and so eventually we didn't need the crate anymore, which was good. And we never leave for that long of time since like my parents work from home, so like she's never alone. She always needs constant attention, but she's upset she only gets 24/7 attention. Like I like just the minimum, not 25/8, unfortunately.
I was gonna say something, but I actually forgot what I was gonna say. So I guess I'm just gonna like talk about my dog some more. And yeah,
Great
because
thing to
I
talk about.
clearly love my dog. I'm just going to talk about her even more and bore you guys with it if you're not interested, because I love her that much. So, anyways, I adopted my dog just like
Ooh,
Katie, and
yeah.
my dog was formerly homeless before my family adopted her. And I think, Katie, you said your dog was a racing dog before you adopted
Yeah.
her?
Greyhounds were bred for racing, so most
Yeah.
greyhounds you find will become or are like have raced and you adopt them from the racing tracks. And thankfully a bunch of them have closed down. And a bunch of people are adopting. Like I know up here, like the bus thing that got us our greyhounds doesn't really come up here anymore since so many people have adopted them that there's just like no more really homes anymore, which I'm so happy about. Because it used to be like, I'm not sure if it's still now, but like 1 in 3 greyhounds, or maybe like 2 in 3 greyhounds were killed every year because no one was able to adopt them and they had nowhere to go because once they're done racing, they don't really have purpose anymore.
Adopting dogs or other animals like cats, I think that's a great option because it's much cheaper than buying it from a breeder or a pet shop, and also basically saves an animal. So I highly recommend adopt, don't shop. I volunteer for an animal adoption organization, and that's their motto. And it's just amazing to see how adopting animals saves animals, but it also saves people.
Yeah. I only recommend shopping is when you need like a service dog or whatnot, since like
Definitely.
they're trained like and just stuff like that. But otherwise, I totally recommend. Like there might be certain circumstances I can't think of them now, but like always would rather adopt than shop, just because those dogs have been through a lot, and it's kind of like they just want a loving home. Like they don't need. I mean they need like a lot, but like they don't need much in a way. That I mean, it's kind of confusing, but like they just want a loving home to go to. And
Yeah, like I'm not against shopping at all. Like Katie said, if you need a service dog or you have an allergy, so you definitely need it to be a certain breed. I know that for a fact. Or if you have very young children and you're worried about like the service dog, I mean, not service dog, the adopted dog being hostile or harming the children, and you really want to know what the dog is, I think that's perfectly fine. But I also like lean towards adopting because you're saving an animal and it's much more economical as well.
mhm, yeah, there's not really much else to say about that because I know like I know like pit bulls especially, there might be other breeds. That's just the first one that came to my mind. Like like they usually are killed because of their since they're a certain breed type and then like banned in certain states and whatnot. And so if you can adopt breeds like that who can't go in certain areas, so they have less likely a chance at home and more of a reason to like be killed or euthanized, then you probably should try and adopt those. But like overall, any dog, and like elder dogs, like because the puppies, they still have time to go to like any like family or whatnot. But like elder dogs, they don't have much time left. Like just have their last few years in a safe, loving home.
Everyone I talk to always says humans don't deserve dogs. I think I only realized this when I got a dog, just how sweet they are and what pure, innocent creatures they are. And I wish I could like rescue every dog in the world because they're just all
Yeah, that's
so
me.
adorable and pure. And I don't know if you guys have heard of like the dodo, but I love watching their videos because it's amazing. Like some dogs, they go through so much and like terrible, terrible backstories, and it's just kind of sad to hear about. But once they go into a loving home, they just forget their past and they're just happy to be there. Because I know sometimes people are apprehensive about dogs of the past, like they worry that the dog will have food issues or be a little aggressive, and that does sometimes happen. But I think with training and being in the proper environment, you could kind of decrease those behaviors and control and minimize them.
Like I remember seeing like a bunch of different shows where they take dogs who have been like in bad past, so they're more like ready to attack like people and whatnot if like just something triggers them, like they are trained and then they become like the perfect dog, because like all it really takes is just like, it doesn't take much for them to train, at least for most dogs, because it's just because of their trauma. Like as like a human, like they're going to be like people who have past trauma will probably still be afraid of those things, but with proper like time and care and like therapy and stuff like that, they'll eventually become less stressed and worried about those and like more open to.
Yeah, definitely. And also, this is kind of a random point, but I think that pets teach responsibility. Like, besides the whole emotional aspect of them increasing happiness and stuff, which is really important, it's also important that they teach responsibility. Like, for my dog, I go to boarding school, if you guys don't know, but when I'm home, I walk her, I feed her, I basically do everything for her. And before I went to school, I would do that every single day. And Katie was talking about how she takes care of her dog too. And it's
Mhm.
just a huge responsibility thing because another person's life is depending on your actions. So it kind of forces you to take on this responsibility and be responsible with your pet. So that's why I think pets are a good option for children. Like when I was younger, my parents wouldn't get me a dog, but I think I know we're like more geared towards teens, but if you're a parent listening to this, I highly recommend that you get your kid a dog or a
Yeah.
cat or some kind of pet because the responsibility thing is huge. Like I'm 15 years old right now, and there are so many people I know who are completely irresponsible. Like there's a lot of irresponsibility at this age, and myself included. Sometimes I'm irresponsible. So it's important to build up that responsibility from a young age because start habits when you're young. It's easier to do that than mend bad habits when you're older.
Yeah, I know. I actually was debating going to this boarding school, but I didn't because one of my main reasons was my dog. Like, I developed like such a large connection with her since I'm just more of like an emotional, like sentimental person, and so like just like the thought of like not being able to like come home from school and take her on walks and just play with her a bunch, just really just I did not like that idea and turned off the idea of me wanting to go to boarding school. And like I mean, I remember I know what you're saying about like kids like want like dogs and whatnot. Like I want a dog forever, and if we finally convinced my parents. But like they brought up a good point why they didn't get it to me sooner is because when we were younger, like I mean, we have less control of like our abilities since we're not as developed. And so if you
Right.
are gonna get it like a pet, I would think you might want to get it when like they're in like just the upper elementary schools and like middle school ages and whatnot,
Oh
just like
yeah,
older, just so they have a little more like that way like the actual habits will encourage not just the parent doing everything.
yeah. I should have been more clear. I agree with that completely because also like if someone's 3 years old, like Katie was saying, they can't walk a dog, they can't feed a dog, no matter how much they want to. They just frankly don't have those abilities, so they can't really develop the responsibility. And then it's basically the parents taking care of the dog.
Yeah, if you want to get a dog like at that young age, I mean I would totally recommend it because like it's always good to have like your kid just like induced to like pets in general or just like any really animal really, just you got to be careful depending on what type of pet, but like most pets will develop like they know that like that kid is like kind of part of their pack and they'll develop more protective instincts. Like I know for one of my dogs who died, when I was younger, since I'm the youngest one in my family, she developed kind of like a maternal, I guess, instinct for me. So whenever we were like play fighting with my family or something, she'd always start barking with them because she thought it was in danger. And I just like thought that was sweet because I knew she was always going to be there to protect me. And I just thought that was sweet. So like if you want to get them younger, just know that you'll be the one taking care of it, but like that dog will still be like part of your pack and take care of your kid. Like I know tons of stories where like the dog has been like protecting the kid and it's kind of they just think of themselves as like there like to help take care of the kid. And like in Peter Pan, like I forget the dog's name, but like they help take care of the kids. I know it was like a joke and whatnot, but like it was just kind of like that's what dogs do. They're naturally caring animals.
Right. And then also cats. I've seen stories where cats have saved young children as well. So if you're a cat person, I think you'll receive the same benefit in that sense.
Mm-hmm. And like I realized we talk a lot about dogs just because we both own dogs, and I guess we're
Yeah.
dog persons.
I
But like,
honestly just realized it, and this episode's supposed to be about pets. So
yeah, but like just like pretty much like this would carry on to most different things. Like I know, there's a ton of different things where you have pets. Like I know some people had pigs as pets, but they acted kind of like dogs and whatnot in a way that they also were like they just weren't dogs. And like cats, like even though they're all like they're a little more, I just know most cats I've experienced at least are a little more on the shy side and a little more on like they don't like to be like they're not as friendly as dogs are, but they're still somewhat friendly. Like some cats can be like but like they still like want attention and like they need like I mean they don't I'm not sure if they need walks because I don't have a cat, but they need to be fed at least. I know that for sure.
yeah, I think they like go to the bathroom in litter boxes in the
Yeah.
house. So then like instead of walking it, you would have to like change the litter box and dispose of that.
And I just think like if you do have something like a snake, tarantula, fish, stuff like that, you probably don't want to have it around little kids. If you do though, make it so they can't reach it because I feel like little kids could probably do something they don't realize is bad and accidentally hurt the pet and whatnot, which is another issue. But
Yes. Like with younger people, I would highly recommend sticking with a cat or a dog or a fish because I think those are pretty safe pets. Like they wouldn't really hurt the kid because I know like when I was a little kid, I would grab everyone's noses and squeeze them because like my parents would play like the I got your nose game. So I would try to play it with others and I would just like go up to random people and squeeze their noses. So like I was that dumb that if I was that age, well, not dumb. I was that what's the right word? Immature, I guess. That if I was that age and I had a pet snake, I would go up to it and squeeze its nose, and then I would lose my hand. So
and you probably wouldn't lose your hand, but you might hurt the snake, depending on what type it is, of course.
yeah,
I don't think I did anything funny like that, but like I think I was like somewhat mature as a kid. I mean, I was probably as mature as most other kids. Like I wasn't like super mature, like I know exactly what I'm doing, but like I don't think I was like I don't think I'd willingly want to like or not willingly, but like I guess accidentally hurt a pet because I mean I've just grown up with like I'm a huge animal person. Like this is pretty much for any animal. I mean, except insects. I'm not a huge insect person, but animals, I'm just like a huge animal person. And like I'd always try to be super careful with them and whatnot. But I feel like I probably did something funny like you with the crafters. I just thought that's so funny.
yeah. I know, guys. I was just the smartest little kid, and I thought like I was collecting everyone's noses, and I was just
Oh yes,
so
you're a
cool.
nose collector. That's your new job. I really
Yeah.
just talk to anyone I would see. Just if you were in my sight, I would go up and talk to you. It was interesting.
Oh, that reminds me. I actually like at my old school there was a program for people who had a little bit of difficulty reading, where every Friday they would read to dogs. And
Oh yeah, I heard of that.
yeah, it's actually like I was looking into it, and it's actually a very effective therapy method for people like that because the dogs are just so calm, and you can pet the dog and calm yourself, and the dogs are just content. They love to listen to you no matter how much difficulty you're having to read something. They're just so happy to be there and listen to you read something. So
Yeah.
that's another amazing thing about animals right there.
I just know with my dog, whenever I'm like feeling like super sad or something, or just had a bad day, she usually just comes and puts her head on her chest. So kind of like I can just like scratch like her back and whatnot. And it's just like a simple gesture like that where I just pet her, it just like calms me down. And I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I know like she feels protected and I feel like comforted and it's just like overall it's like a totally good thing and whatnot.
As I always say, dog is God spelled backwards for a reason. Like, dogs are just so pure. I love them.
Yeah. But I keep like we keep bringing it back to dogs, but I mean
Yeah, I'm
cats probably
sorry,
are great
everyone.
too.
I'm
For
sorry.
all of those other pet lovers, we're sorry. We're not other pets. Like the most I've ever had is a guinea pig, but that one peed on me, so I don't have great memories with it.
I know guinea pigs are kind of like dogs, though, so I think
Yeah,
you
I
guinea
feel like
pig
they're just
owners
bigger
out there can
hamsters.
relate.
Yeah, I think they're just like bigger hamsters. I guess just like I
Hmm.
guess more like willing to like I don't know. I had it a while ago, but like I had a fish once, but like the fish didn't really do much for me. Maybe I just didn't have as much of a connection to it. But for all those fish lovers there, I understandable. Like each their own. Like no judgment
Exactly.
here. Like I
Well,
just yeah.
going back to hamsters, true horror story right here. My family
Oh
was asked
God.
to watch my neighbor's hamster and feed it while they were on vacation. And let's just say that after that week was over, they no longer had a pet hamster.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
no.
I'm very sorry to that family, but we unfortunately overfed the hamster, and unfortunately it passed away. So we were never asked to hamster sit again. But when I was with the hamster, it was actually really sweet and cool. That's another pet that I would consider getting.
hamster
I like
lovers,
hamsters.
hamster lovers might start to despise you, Jess. This is the
Oh,
revolution. Anti-Jess. Hamsters
hamster
versus Jess.
lovers, please don't cancel me. Okay, I love hamsters, and it was mostly my mom. She was the one who actually gave it the food.
Blame
So
the
don't
mom.
cancel me.
I remember when I had my fish, I thought I took pretty good care of it. Like I fed it. It actually so how it died. I'm still kind of confused. It's one of the unsolved mysteries of 2021. But when it died, it somehow was like cut in half. And keep in mind, there's no other fish or really anything else in the tank other than some decorations. But like even then they weren't sharp, but somehow it was cut in half. And so I was just really confused because like, and this was just because I was at school, and when I came back, I realized when I was going to feed him that he was just not alive anymore. I was so
Wow.
confused, heartbroken.
I
Yeah.
also have another story about fish. At this point, I'm starting to think that it's maybe genetic that my family doesn't have a good reputation with fish or hamsters. Because my dad, when he was younger, had a fish, but he was scared of it, so he just hid it in his closet and never fed it. So, like,
Oh,
I'm starting to think this is genetic, but I assure you, I take very good care of my dog.
oh my God. Hopefully. I'm kind of scared for your dog now.
No, don't be scared. Like, using pictures of her, she's a healthy girl. I love
Yeah.
her. I take her out on walks, I feed her.
Other than that, I would count myself as a pretty good owner. Like I feel like someone might trust me with pet sitting their pet, but like, there's just a bunch of things that could go wrong, which is why I don't want younger kids, I guess. You want someone who's like, I mean, someone maybe our age, maybe a slightly younger, just someone who's capable of like just understanding what needs to be done, just bringing it back to
Yeah.
like,
And I think like maturity doesn't have an age. Like there are people my age, like 15 years old, who I would not trust to pet sit, but I would trust some 10-year-olds I know to pet sit because they're extremely mature and diligent.
yeah, I feel like even if you have a pet, I feel like when I had my dog, I feel like I've just matured a little bit more just because it just took more responsibilities. Like bring back, I think what you said earlier, it just takes a lot more responsibility to take care of a dog than just yourself. Because it's like another being's life that's like that trusted in you and whatnot. And it just gives you more responsibility. So you mature a little bit more, not to the fact where you're like, you've matured to a 45-year-old.
Katie, I don't know if you experienced the same thing, but since I've gotten my dog, she's like medium size. Like dogs that are smaller than her they look even smaller. They look like way too tiny, like extremely tiny. And dogs that are bigger than her look like huge giants.
I don't know. Mine's I guess is like medium to large size. Like she's about the height to my waist. I'm like 5'4". Um, but like she's not like a super big dog, but it's hard to explain. She's like if she jumped up on her paws, she could be around my head, I feel like. But like I haven't really seen any bigger dogs. She's terrified of small dogs. So we don't really see a lot of small dogs. We try to do our best to avoid the dog paths, but just small dogs seem really small, I guess. Since like I don't know, she's just kind of tall.
Yeah, my dog, she had a litter of puppies, so she's a mom. And what's really cute
Aw.
is that in our neighborhood, she has like a little cult of puppies that she's friends with and almost like mentors when we see them on walks. And I think that's just the cutest thing because she just like treats them like they're her puppies sometimes.
I love that. That's so cute. Yeah, my
I
dog's not a
know.
very social butterfly.
My dog is
I'm,
like if Katie was a dog, my dog is
oh my
really
god.
social.
I'm not that social. I just talk a lot.
Trust me, she's like so nice and friends with so many people.
My dog, I don't know like how I mean my dog I feel like if because the thing is she's not as social because like after coming out from the racing, she's literally like just being accustomed. Like we didn't introduce her to stairs. She's never seen those before. She's never seen other dogs before. Like there were so many things we had to introduce to her because she never had them when she was racing because she like grew up to race. Like that was it for her. But it was just kind of interesting. I feel like once we started introducing her to more dogs, she got less and less kind of like scared or like just nervous at them because she used to be like a ton of a barker, a lunger, just like overall, just we hated passing by dogs because it was awful. And now only certain dogs kind of freak her out, and like they're like really close by and might slightly freak her out, but like overall, she's gotten way better. So I think it just takes time. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So I think we've had a great discussion about pets, mostly dogs today. We talked about pets' impact on us, pets and mental health, responsibility, the importance of pets, being kind to pets, a lot of things. So, Katie, do you have any final thoughts before we conclude this episode?
Well, for any parent watching this, you should definitely get your teenager and like older child a pet. Not sure what type, all depends what they're interested in. And any teenagers, try to convince your parents to get a pet. It's definitely worth it. But that's about it.
Yeah, I'm just going to end things off by saying dogs are awesome. All right, guys, bye, and thank you for listening.
Bye.